Hola, buenos días, soy Nico.
Let's light this candle, huh? I mean, sure, I'll lose everything, but then I'll have nothing to lose.
And today, my voice is going to be low because my voice is tired. It has given out on me multiple times. This is around my 40th time trying to make this video. As you can tell, it's 5 a.m. I have my acne patches on, my skin is clear. This wristband, Nico, my energy is like very low, I'm so sorry. This wristband is because I went to LA Pride, I got to see Megan Thee Stallion and Mariah Carey live. H-Town, Hold It Down, and my mother, Nico, I am a lamb. She's one of the few divas I will actively go up for no matter what you got to say because she has earned her place in the culture. And I will not let you bad talk Mariah Carey. But moving on. Today we're here to talk about the price of visibility. And it's something that I wanted to bring up because a story from a performer of Jptrapscott interested me, where he basically came forward about how most of his viral videos that he was making in 2017 to 2019 were right before he was going to class in high school, meaning he had actually gotten with his performer partner, who was 13 years his senior, while he was freshly 18. He said that one of his most viral videos was actually made 5 minutes after he turned 18. And the older people in the audience that were watching his content all adored it, but when he basically tried to stand up towards the boy in the pic, who was the collaborator in the video that he was trying to stop, everybody turned on him saying, you knew what you signed up for, and this is business, and basically condemning him and tearing him apart when this 18-year-old is basically saying, I don't want this content out. That's one of the reasons why I still believe the age of consent for adult cinematography should be raised to 21, because if you're not allowed to drink until you're 21, I don't know why you're allowed to put your body fully onto the world at 18. I started OnlyFans at 26 because I originally started as the cameraman, and I've actually wanted to stay behind the camera, but y'all were complaining so much that I actively had to get involved in front of the camera, so that's why I started. And I can see where the peer pressure continues to lead you into a path that you don't necessarily want to go down. He says that he does regret that at 17 and 18, he was posting his body on the internet trying to get validation and or money, because at the end of the day, when he finally became single from his partner who he was making content with, everybody only hit him up to basically have super happy adult fun time and relegated him to that role, and it was isolating. He said that people did not know while enjoying that content he was being taken advantage of by someone who was far older than him to make these videos. At the end of the day, he did consent even if he was freshly 18, but there was a clear imbalance in that dynamic. And that's why I wanted to have a conversation about the price of visibility. Now that I've gotten through explaining his scenario and how I'm tying it in, I can actually relax a bit. It's because my mental health recently has been not the best. I've been very isolated just because I've always been a private person. I don't come online and talk about my personal life. If anything, I slightly open up my trauma because I feel like talking about that with other people who have been through similar trauma, we can all find a place of healing. But I have no reason to come online and just tell people about my personal life. But in the process of me having more visibility, not even just based off of OnlyFans, but on YouTube in general, I have to keep everybody at a 6-foot barrier just because so many people are actively trying to tear you apart if you are in the public eye, no matter if you're doing good and or bad. A lot of people, we can use Twitter for example, will search up keywords on random profiles if somebody is going viral for something good just to find something to tear them down with, because people like to see people in the public eye torn apart. And luckily, I'm not reckless with what I say. I'm not reckless with what I post. I will never just sit up here and say something ignorant or willfully harmful. So nobody's ever found that out about me. But I've been told that people are so curious about me that they make multiple threads about me on different websites, People have tried to dox me. People have tried to find where I live. And I personally don't think my life is entertaining enough to warrant all that. I mean, and nobody's life warrants all that. But being in the public eye really puts a target on your back. And a lot of people, when this happens to, let's say, celebrities or just influencers in general, they say, you knew what you were signing up for. You decided to log on to YouTube. You decided to join OnlyFans. You decided to post pictures on Instagram. You wanted to be insulted. And it just doesn't make sense to me, because any rational person, I would like to assume, you know, I really think I'm a very rational person. If I see somebody I don't like, whether it be their personality, whether it be their ideologies, I do not follow them. I mute them. I move on. I don't acknowledge their existence. I've started to learn that a lot of unhinged people on the internet will actively follow somebody they don't like just so that they have the opportunity to attack them and dunk on them when they feel it's best opportune. And that has to be a sign of mental illness. And I'm somebody, you know, I suffer from depression, so it's not like I'm the most mentally coherent at all times, but if I'm like, I just don't understand hate following people. And I'm not necessarily saying that's his issue as well, but, you know, the whole ideology of, oh, well, you're relegated to this one role now that you do OnlyFans. I actually have not been in that situation. If anything, people still actively try to date me because I make it a focal point to say I am a three-dimensional person. I may be quote unquote visually appealing to some people, but that is not my entire being. If anything, I don't even post sexual content if it is not a price tag attached to it. Just because I'm one of those people, if I'm not making a monetary gain, I'm not doing it for free. I've been doing YouTube for 3 years. I had multiple retail jobs at one point where I was not only the assistant manager, but an associate at a different store. I've been a server, you know, I've been in college. I've always been one of those people that grew up in the mud, that grew up in the struggle, that just has the ideology of I have to keep consistently making money and never give myself a break and always stay busy, and it burns you out. And that's not necessarily an issue of public visibility, but I would say that the unnecessary commentary is what burns me out with public visibility, because even in the OnlyFans situation, you know what you're getting into because there's going to be a societal stigma. What people don't tell you is that it's not just the stigma, it's literally random people who view your content, get their jollies to it, and then insult you in the same breath for no reason other than you are visible to them and they feel like they should have to insult you. Like, I'll be scrolling and somebody's like, look at that lazy eye. And I'm like, bitch, a lazy eye? And I have to sit there and think, do I have a lazy eye? And I realize I don't, but it's the fact that people will randomly try to pick apart your appearance. They will try to pick apart your character, will try to pick apart your individual, who you are as an individual, without any proof, for the sole reason that they can and they want to inflict harm. In his situation, I do genuinely feel bad because he even spoke up about how a lot of the content creators, when they are wild and out on Big O, the ones that are 25 and below, are doing so from a place of trauma because they were brought into the industry at an extremely young age. These older performers will use and abuse them and discard them, and then have the nerve to log on to Big O and attack them based on their physical appearance or their status. I mean, we saw it with Grayling Purnell and his ex-boyfriend, where he basically logged on to Big O and began to insult him, saying, look at your body, look at you, you're not even that great, you're unattractive, and he was being fatphobic. So I mean, it happens time and time again, it happens in real time, and I wish prayer and healing on him, in particular Jptrapscott, but in my situation, I just want, I really want to break. Unfortunately, I work in multiple industries that if you stop posting, the timeline, the algorithm will move on and people will forget about you, but it's tiring to have to be in the public eye 24/7 for 3 years straight. Do you understand? I don't get to play Dungeons and Dragons anymore because I'm always traveling and don't have a steady internet connection. I rarely get to play video games anymore because I'm always traveling and rarely have a steady internet connection. I have to keep people at arm's length because people are weird and will spread information out about you. Like, I've had people actively pretend to be my friend to get information about a situation that I was dealing with an ex, to run back and tell them because it was public on Twitter. I'm just sitting here like, what could you possibly get out of making a situation that is already blowing up more inflammatory between two people that don't even involve you? Nico, I don't bring my relationship issues to Twitter. I don't bring any of my personal business to any fraction of the internet. Why would you do that? And they have to be like, oh, I can't believe he unfollowed me. I can't believe he blocked me. Girl, I don't need that in my fucking life, if I'm being quite honest. But yes, that's the video. Essentially, you should all try to be nicer and more kind to people that are in the public eye, especially because nobody is a saint. Nobody is fully innocent. Everybody has done something problematic. Everybody has caused harm to some degree. Unless somebody is actively being quote unquote a villain, unless somebody is actively being anti-Black, unless they're making reckless statements, etc., I don't see the purpose in going out of your way to misconstrue what somebody says and or to lie about them. Y'all know how I feel about lying. If I don't have information, if I don't have a steady screenshot or screen recording, I don't even talk about a subject. I feel like that's how we should all move. We should all be more informed with the things that we say. But yes, that was my dialogue on public visibility. I'm tired in more ways than one. I will upload the Patreon video later today. Drop your opinions down. Drop your opinions down below on public visibility, because I'm sure you've all noticed that celebrities tend to get strays no matter what they do just for simply existing. I'm sure you've all noticed the situation where OnlyFans performers, especially when they're young, when they enter, usually end up either on some form of substance or wilding out on the internet trying to continue to either gain that visibility or just clear their name. I want your opinions on all the things that we consistently see that I've covered dozens of times in videos, you know? But yes, definitely drop your opinions down below. Do you also believe the age of consent for adult cinematography should be raised? Because I firmly believe it should be a good 21. Just because at freshly 18, you don't understand where your life is going. So I feel like that could be a big hindrance if you're trying to go into corporate America, especially because you aren't even allowed to drink alcohol until you're 21. You aren't even allowed to rent a car until you're 25. So why should I be able to spread my whole on OnlyFans at 18? But that's just in this particular situation, because a lot of people will use your youth and naivety against you and take advantage of you, as we see with Jptrapscott. But yes, definitely drop your opinions down below. Boop. And now for a brief yet sincere shout out to this week's Third Eye Tier subscribers, William G. Jr. and Edward W. Your continued support is greatly appreciated. Thank you once again. And seeing as how I still don't have my recording equipment, this week's live stream will be a virtual hangout. If that sounds interesting to you, definitely tune in.